What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals. This is fresh off of the Oscars.
Yeah, baby.
I've had a lot of Diet Cokes.
Only Diet Cokes.
That's all I've had. And
Hey,
boy,
way to be responsible.
am I having a good time. It has been a fun night. Took tomorrow off just so I could have these Diet Cokes. You know, they fill your belly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to get rid of those bubbles next day.
Thank you, my pages, Kimberly Karen. I'm going to get rid of the bubbles in about 30 minutes after I devour a bag of Kit Kats. You know what I'm saying?
That's such a good call.
All right. The Oscars, man, what a show. We got lots to talk about. I think we should kind of just free roam this here. Kyle watched some of it, had to cook, had to be distracted. He's got a tie on his head. He was doing some karate. He was gearing up for the
New Karate Kid flick.
Yeah. He's the All Valley champ. Kyle is. He's 4-time All Valley champ. 5-time All Valley champ.
Thank you.
Kyle and Honora have something big in common. They're both 5-time champions. Let's get it, baby. Are you kidding me?
Very impressive.
Honora won 5 Oscars tonight. That was amazing. Let's start off, though, with Conan. I thought Conan did great. He did great as a host. As somebody who has actually watched every Oscars for the last 10, 15 years, the hosting is a big deal. I know there's been a big turn on Kimmel as a person and hatred towards him, but he was a great host. They've had some bad hosts in the last few years. Conan was great.
No host.
I would horrible years, 2 horrible years of no hosts.
2 brilliant years.
Stop. I'm too Coke. Pepsi'd, excuse me. I'm too Pepsi'd up for you tonight, Kyle.
Yeah.
Conan was great. Conan was great tonight. He was excellent. He had really funny bits. The bit about we're halfway through the show. Now it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile. That was incredible. The intro was fantastic with Conan and the substance bit. That was great. He took the shot at Carla was insane. That
was a dicey one.
Was Ricky Gervais up there? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I was laughing hard. That was really good. Really good.
I actually gasped. I can't believe I gasped, but
Conan was really, really good.
Of course he was.
You got any specific thoughts? Any favorite bits of Conan's here before we rush into some awards?
I wouldn't say like it was really a bit-centric show from him, which kind of surprised me a bit, but I just didn't mind because I know that like his delivery on jokes is just so impressive that it didn't bother me anyway. For some reason, it was nice that the firefighters for the LA fires got to come out. That was
great. Yeah,
I do wish the show could have done a bit more in like pushing that aspect of things in like on terms of like a donation level, but nonetheless, like bringing them out was a good touch. And honestly, like the Joker 2 joke where even Conan was like, could have done it better myself. That's good delivery.
Very funny.
Yeah, the tree thing as well. I don't know. He's just funny that way. Like he just pokes fun at himself, and he did do what I expected him to do, which was that he was going to mention and talk about like the power of cinema and and the importance of it. And he didn't really. It didn't feel like he took that many shots about like movies and how people don't like movies being long and like the streaming war stuff. And I don't know. I like that he kind of restrained himself a bit.
That bit about like we've got the new thing for you in town, and we've taken all your phones, we've put them together for one big screen. Oh wow, like that was hysterical. It was so
I liked
funny.
I liked it.
So funny. It was excellent. It was an excellent bit. Kyle, what are some of your surprises, your moments? What do you want to talk about here on a big awards night? Kyle's back in. He's back. It took a very tall man to get Kyle back and Conan O'Brien, but Kyle is back watching the Oscars. Kyle, what stood out to you the most? Was it a surprise win? Was it a devastating loss? Was it just the fact that Adam Sandler was hysterical out there today? Come on, man. What was it? Kyle,
my two big wow moments where they announced the winner and I like gasped were for Best Actress and Best Animated Feature. I guess I'll start with Best Animated Feature.
Mm-hmm.
And on our discussion, well, yesterday now, but on our discussion, we expected Wild Robot and Flow to be the two beating or competing for this. Mm-hmm. But for me, I just felt like it was more of a done deal with Wild Robot. Like a day has passed and I was like, I feel comfortable with Wild Robot getting the win.
You did. You saw it late in the theater and you were like, this is the clear frontrunner. Or wait, excuse me. You saw it late just in general.
In general. Yeah, same with Flow as well. Take that as you will. But
Flow was hard to see.
Flow did surprise me for the win. And good for it. It is a very good movie, very terrific animation. I just was feeling locked in with that Wild Robot pick for myself. And then for Best Actress, kind of the same thing. For myself, it was more of a three-way horse race between Mikey Madison, Demi Moore, and Fernanda Torres. Alex, you were preaching way more about Mikey Madison, but you also thought it was Demi Moore and her as well, if I recall correctly.
I picked Demi Moore.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You were on the show.
Hey.
God dang it, Kyle. We talked about it yesterday.
We've done a lot of videos. There's Kyle, a lot of Oscars we've talked about.
It's been a year for Kyle. You been in the hyperbolic time chamber? Where have you been? Come on, bud.
I was giving you props. I thought you did go for Mikey.
No.
That was in my headcanon.
I went with that is, I think, a big shock of the night. It was look, I said it on here. It was a 2-horse race with a dark horse gearing in. The Fernanda Torres was always in the bubble of the critic and the fan. She won the Globe. That was it. She was not actually in contention. The SAG award put Mikey as a frontliner. She can beat Demi Moore. She can beat her. And I thought it would go to Demi Moore. I thought it would.
Okay.
But I was very hopeful it would be Mikey. I mean, I was jumping up with joy at Mikey winning. She is deserving. I have been on the Anora train since October when I saw it at the festival. I told Autumn that watching Sean Baker so many times, I was like, he acted the exact same on just a Zoom call talking to all the people at the festival, which just tells you that is a genuine guy. He was the same type of energy. He was not fake in any sense of the means. He didn't seem like he was putting on a show today or with us. He felt real the whole time. His speech about, everybody's saying, go to the movie theater, support independent film. And we've been talking on this channel for years. Independent movies need more love. Independent movies need more love. And just won Best Picture. And as much as I think Dune should have won, Dune is my favorite movie of this last year. Sure. I would have loved to have seen Dune win. But to take Anora, to say that it's highway robbery is absurd. Because Anora is deserving of this win. But anyway, continue. Sure. I've hijacked. That's what we do when we've had a lot of Pepsi.
No, that's and only Pepsi. No, I also did like Sean Baker's point of championing movie theaters in a cinematic experience. And granted, is it the most important thing that the winners talked about in terms of what's going on in the world? Obviously not. But for a show that's about celebrating film, I do think there is an importance and a need to remind audiences that it's okay to have that experience again, to try to go out and experience more movies. Although I understand in given times things are expensive, it's more of a luxury now perhaps than it has ever been before. But nonetheless, I just think that experiences triumphs over being on a couch. So again, not the most important thing to mention in terms of what's going on in the world, but I just appreciate that. Because we need more of that and less about jokes taking shots at movie theaters and movies in general. Which brings me to wanting to talk about Best Director, because you saw me having a hard time when it comes to deciding over Best Director.
Oh God, Kyle really wanted to be the guy on top on that one.
I know. I thought I had it. What? Hey, you gotta take shots. It has to be fun, right? Why not? Why not try to hope for Brady Corbert getting the best director?
A lot more fun.
No, I just yeah. Which I think you. No, and rightfully so. I think you did beat me. Like, you got how many right? Because I got 15.
17. I got 17 right.
Yeah, now I got 15, I'm pretty sure. So I owe you $10 here.
10
Yep.
buckaroos.
They're coming your way, buddy. Coming your way.
Am I cutting you off if I start something? I couldn't.
No, please keep going.
Distracted.
Please keep going.
Adrian Brody, don't get up on stage and say 5 times you're going to keep this short and sweet and then talk for 5 gall-danging minutes. Yeah. The music started cutting him off the second time. He's like, all right, I get it. He was like, turn that off. Turn the music off. I've been here before. I can talk. It's like, all right.
Yeah,
you're saying quite a bit here, pal. You don't know what you're saying. It's an out-of-body experience. I get it, but get off the stage.
And the words that he said towards the tail end of his speech were good and important.
They always say good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. Like, you want to say those sorts of things, and I understand. But at the same time, you have to, you're welcome. At the same time, though, you also got to realize to keep the show going and help out. I don't know how to take his joke or his jab about saying that he's done it before. It's probably a lot of nothing, and it was kind of funny.
No, I'm just making fun of
it's
him.
It's just the thing with Adrian Brody, like, I think some people he really rubs people the wrong way. I feel like he's just that type of actor, that type of person, perhaps, but great performance of the year, that's for sure. And him being, like, still a very young 2-time Oscar winner is impressive, too.
I've got 3 major rants. You ready for them? I've got 3.
Are we doing them all in the row, or are we spacing them out?
Back to back, baby. Let's rapid fire.
Hold on, let me just adjust my tie.
You might want to lower those below the eyes, pal. You might not want to look. All right, I got 3 major rants. I hope I don't forget them.
Okay, here we go.
My first one. One of these rants might be good. The In Memoriam was much better. I went on an absolute tear last year about how horrible the In Memoriam was.
You did.
There are a couple things that are a little dicey. Gene Hackman did pass in 2025, I believe.
Yeah, just like a week ago.
Just a couple weeks ago. Putting him in and then not putting other people in who have passed at the same time frame seems a little weird. I thought Gene might have been in next year's Academy Award for the people who have passed over this year.
Right, and that young actress wasn't in the In Memoriam, if I recall, and she died like a day before Gene Hackman, or a day after.
No, Are you talking about, what is it? It's the Pepsi. Trachtenberger, I believe is her name.
Yeah.
Phenomenal young actress. Great. She died a couple days ago. No, that was just a few days ago.
I thought it was before Gene Hackman. And then Gene Hackman kind of
She died on like Thursday. Because everybody was talking about it at work.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Well, nonetheless,
but like
she was missed.
But like, that's just that. It's like, let's not pick and choose. Gene Hackman is an icon, and I get that he is a legend, especially compared to a lot of people in the industry. But like, let's keep it what it is. But it was much better. Last year, they were cutting to dance moments, and they're putting the people who matter far away. This year, the orchestra stuff, the singers in the background, I still thought was poor taste. I think you just black out and you let them have their final moment in your In Memoriam. But it was much better.
I like the clips.
Much better. Yeah, no, the clip, I do love that choice, because it used to be a few of the like big names got clips, and everyone else just got the years they lived and what they did in the profession with their image. And this year, having everybody have a little bit of a clip, I thought was great context, because like when it came up, costume designer, I can't remember her name because I didn't know who she was until now, but like you see costume designer in the clip in the background is the Princess Bride, and that takes a lot. That adds so much more. I was like, oh crap, like what? Costume designer for the Princess Bride pass? Like that stinks.
Well,
like,
especially for especially for a more a person that is more of like the general audience population,
exactly,
who obviously would not know this name. Even we as film fanatics don't know that name, but to see an icon like Princess Bride is like, oh no, that is sad, because I love that movie. I remember the costumes anyway.
No, you're right. I'm just they trended in the right direction this year. Switching all of a sudden from the big monitor to your floating orchestra. I like the floating orchestra, but to switch to them to then now we're like Shelley Duvall got cut off quick. Like she's in one of the most iconic movies of all time. She gets cut off quick in her In Memoriam part.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
R.I.P. to the queen.
Yeah, she's terrific.
I think that's headed in the right direction.
I don't mind the orchestra if it was for like the composers. Maybe I like the tail end, depending on how many composers have passed, which I thought that's where it was going, but then it showed more acters, and then I was like, that's a bit. Yeah. I get what you mean.
Rant number 2.
Here we go.
What are we doing with these songs? What are we doing? That was horrible. It was horrible. And now look, I can hear my cousin Kevin, if you're watching, I can hear you specifically in my ear going, don't you like having fun, Al? I do.
He does sound like that.
I enjoy it quite a bit. That's why I've had a few Pepsis. The performances tonight were great. The individual performances on stage doing the job they were asked for was great. They were all excellent. They should not have been a part of the show at all. All 3 of them should not have been in the show.
So
I felt we're talking Wicked. We're talking Bond. I had them just in my head. Bond, and then we're talking our king, whose name has escaped me because of all the Pepsis. Queen Latifah came up. Quincy Jones. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I think they felt in poor taste. And look, I'm coming from a weird place here. I understand that.
Lots of Pepsis.
But true. I thought the Wicked introduction completely stole from Conan's opening bit. I thought it derailed some of the vibe. And luckily, Conan's good enough to get the vibe back. I think the Oscars should open with the host. I thought it worked for the La La Land intro, but that was the only one I felt like they've had a funny intro before, and now we get into it. I thought worked in the last 10 years. But the Bond thing was dumb. It was dumb the whole way through. It was completely stupid. And I see people online saying, like, it's a in memoriam moment for Bond being sold.
It kind of felt that way.
It did, but what are we talking? Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they were sold. It's not an anniversary, and if it is, they didn't make a big enough deal about it. It should not have been there. It was there so they could get 3 major artists to perform a song. That is why it was there. And I'm going to be honest, the Quincy Jones one is the best one. I think paying tribute to a performance and an icon in the industry like Quincy Jones made sense. I thought that works. It honestly reminded me a little bit of when the Academy wanted to clear the air, correct something they thought was wrong, and they had Eminem come out and re-perform Lose Yourself. I thought that worked. Yeah. I truly felt that they threw the Quincy. I think the heads of the Academy threw the Quincy Jones tribute in to make it feel like the other 2 song performances made more sense. Oh, wait, there were 4. There was a random dance number. Or no, that was the Bond one. It was the weird. Bond one. Yeah. It was weird. So it just doesn't. It's stupid. And here's the worst part about it, Kyle.
Okay.
I did not like Amelia Perez. I did not like it. I think it was a bad movie. But you're talking El Mal, The Journey, Like a Bird, Mi Camino, and Never Too Late are the 5 nominated songs. You have spent however many years, I don't know the actual number, performing all of the songs that have been nominated. You cut it this year to bring in nothing but celebrities to do dumb tributes, minus Quincy Jones. I liked that tribute, but I still think in the context of what they were doing, I felt like they threw it in to make the others seem like they were worth it. And I think that's poor taste. Mm-hmm. And I think that is horrible to the artists who work hard to make a song. When they did that tribute and they had the actual creators of the songs talking about their songs, I was like, this is where the song should be always. We don't need the massive performances. But if you're going to cut the performances, don't invite a bunch of celebrities to then do performances for songs that are not nominated or previous winners. I don't need to hear someone not Adele singing Skyfall. And she was great. She's an excellent singer. I can't remember her name. Raya?
I have no idea. I only recognize Doja Cat. I have no idea who the other two are.
It's just, it was stupid. It was Gen Z, look at us, come watch our show. It's 3 hours and 40 minutes. Come watch. It's dumb. It's idiotic. It was idiotic, and it was in poor taste. It was stupid. And I don't want to see a bunch of song performances. If it's I'm Just Ken, I'm great. RRR, I want that all day. But I don't need all these performances, especially if they're like, look, if I've been ranting that if you're going to cut anything for time, cut the performances. Don't cut them to bring in other performances. It was dumb. Although Margaret Qualley did just...
She looked great.
She made everybody go, what just happened? She made everybody be like, what? I was just seduced. What happened?
Yeah, no, she's terrific, man. She's a great actress, great dancer.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Dumb that they did it. And then Bond, it was like, all right, we're performing a Bond song, great. Oh, we're performing 2 Bond songs. Oh, wow, okay. Oh God, we're performing 3 Bond songs. And halfway through, I was like, are they going to announce who's the next Bond? Did Amazon drop a ton of money to ABC to announce this?
That would have made it better. My head. I don't know if it would have. I honestly think that would have
made it better because I wouldn't be ranting about that. I'd be talking about who the next Bond is. It was dumb. Yeah. And I bet you Amazon paid a ton of money to let everybody know that they own Bond.
I wouldn't be shocked if that's what it was. The
thoughts.
The Wicked thing I have no thoughts on because I woke up from a nap, so I only turned it on once Conan began.
Wow. So Kyle agrees it was stupid. 100%. Kyle thought it was so dumb that he knew he could sleep for the first 20 minutes, and it threw the whole show. You're trying to cut the show down. Conan can't do anything when you go, oh, Ariana's going to perform first. Ariana Grande and Cynthia's they're coming in. They're going to perform first, Conan. Conan's like, okay, cool. I'm trying to cut this show down and keep it on schedule. It was longer than last year's because of those songs.
Yeah, that's part of it, for sure. The Bond thing, I was actually cooking during that time. Funny enough. Yep.
Kyle didn't pay attention during the boring parts of the show.
So in the back of my head, I was rattling through of like, is it a Bond anniversary or is this an Amazon bumping up some money so that way they could be included in the show in this way? It's probably the latter, probably that second one. Don't get me wrong, choreography wise, the songs sound amazing, very good show in terms of that, but I agree. Unless if you do an anniversary thing, I would understand it more. But it clearly was not an anniversary thing. And the Quincy Jones thing, I actually like that the most. And I love the performance of it as well. Queen Latifah was great. She was terrific.
I don't call her the queen for nothing.
But funny enough, like thinking about the Quincy Jones thing and a little bit of the Bond thing, not so much, but a little bit, I just was realizing that I was kind of liking the historical facts or like the history stuff that they were mentioned throughout the show. Like the stuff involving Quincy Jones and like the contributions to cinema and for like Queen Latifah, or sorry, not Queen Latifah, Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey, and like those being their first roles being The Color Purple. I honestly forgot about that fact, so I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like it made me excited, and maybe it's just because I'm getting older. Okay, so it probably was just Oprah, but nonetheless, I just like the history stuff. I don't know if that's the most exciting stuff for like most other people when it comes to the Oscars. But I kind of like that they are adding more and more of that stuff in. And Conan was doing that a bit too in terms of like the costume designer being like the first African American to win in that category, I believe. some other facts there too.
I have to stop you. They do that every year.
Yeah, they probably do.
Year.
I don't know.
Every year.
I get it. Just for myself, as I was thinking of those performances, I was like, I'm happy that it makes me think about like the history of things. It's just my own personal thing. I'm not saying the show was great in doing that. It's just what I enjoy.
Having Nick Offerman do it, I thought was great. Make that part of the bit, because for a lot of years, it's just been they have some voiceover, or it's just a caption on the screen that if you don't read real quick, you're gonna miss that historical part. I agree with you. That's part of the reason I've loved the Oscars, because I love the history of cinema, and so I'm with you on that. I thought the Nick Offerman stuff, adding all that in, was great. You're talking all these positives, though, because you slept through one of the worst parts of the show, and then you were cooking during the other worst part of the show, and then you turned into the only good performance. And not
I'm great
good,
with my timing.
because I sound like I'm being mean to the people that performed. They did a phenomenal job. They were asked to do a job, and they said, all right, I'm going to bring my A game, and they did. They were defying gravity. But, like, we're not the Tonys. Don't take away from the nominated people to bring in Ariana Grande. It's poor taste. Poor taste.
Do you want to do your final rant now, or should we go through some of the other winners before we get to the
final? What are we doing
one?
with the clips? Okay. There's no reason. The clips are the best part, and they just pick and choose.
It was picky and choosy.
Who's getting a clip? Kyle was like, I read that all the actor performances are going to be getting.
I was half right.
I read that.
I was half right.
And then Kyle was like, I don't know what happened. I read that the actors were getting the clips, and it was just the leading.
Scoops McGee told me. Scoops McGee told me what happened, and boy, was Scoops wrong.
The clips are faster than RDJ coming out there and talking
for 10
minutes about everybody.
I met everyone in this room, and let me share a story about, like, good, that's great. I know that I know every actor knows everyone, but like,
at least he was the only long one. Everybody else did it quick. Cillian Murphy looked like he wanted to get home.
Yeah.
And Cillian Murphy, what was so funny is last year, the whole award cycle was how much Cillian Murphy did not want to be there. And then they don't even show him. I didn't even know he was, like, obviously you knew he was going to be there because they always have last year's winners announced. But it was like, I just forgot. They announced Cillian Murphy's coming out to announce the award. And I was like, oh, that's right. Cillian Murphy's here. Anyway. Yeah, no, that's my only thing. Bring the full clips back. I like some of the changes for music, editing. The screenplays have always been great. Add the text on the screen. They did pick some weird clips for those, though. They could have picked better scenes for a few of them. But overall, I thought going back to some of those was a good choice at the end of the day. But we can actually talk about the winners. We've talked for 27 minutes and 50 seconds about none of the actual winners.
People know.
I'll put it in the description. Get about 30 minutes in, and then you're actually listening to us talk about the show.
Sure.
What was your big standout of winners and losers here, pal? Other than Flo, that's what started all this. The pets. Kyle doesn't like cats, so that's like how we got
confirmed.
Here. That's true, though. Cats are goated.
I was happy by Dune getting visual effects and sound. I think we both predicted those. It made the most sense to me.
Dune
screenplay
overall, but
screenplay for myself. I really like that Conclave got it for adapted screenplay. I'm glad that Conclave got at least something of a win for that movie. I just think it's very impressive.
It is a very good film.
I still need to see Sing Sing for sure, but I just like
Coleman
Conclave.
Domingo looked the best of anyone there tonight. I'm just saying that.
He's a handsome man.
Whew.
He's a handsome man. Not many people can pull off a red suit, I don't think, but he's one of the few.
Hey, Philly guy. He's a Philly guy.
Oh, no way. That's cool. Yep. Original screenplay. Hey, Honora got a win, and that's cool. That's cool. It was a tough category, though.
Why did you say that like Honora wasn't expected? Honora got a win. Honora got a win. Kyle, Honora got 5 wins, and they were the major, almost exclusively all the major wins of the night.
I know I was picking a real pain. So seeing Honora win was one of those where I was like, I wish I was right, but also I can't be mad either. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think the screenplays went where they deserved to be.
Fair enough.
I think everything for the most part went par for the course. Some of the ones I missed this year were a lot of the documentaries, the shorts that I just didn't get time to do more research, actually watch some of them like I have in years past. Everything else pretty much went the way we had talked and predicted. Running through score to The Brutalist absolutely made sense to me. If you're not going to have Dune in there at all, The Brutalist is the best score of them. Even when they played the score, I was like, oh, it's a great score.
For makeup and hairstyling, as they were showing the clips, I was feeling pretty confident that The Substance would win, and it turns out that it did. But I did see the makeup work for Nosferatu with that clip, and I was like, man, they did do a very good job with the makeup.
Like,
in
you
that
forgot?
movie.
You
No,
forgot?
it was just a nice friendly reminder. Like, just seeing the clip of it, I was like, "Oof, it's so good."
It was funny watching it with Autumn, who had picked Nosferatu but hasn't seen The Substance. And when they showed one clip of Demi Moore later in the film, she just audibly went, "Oh God!" And I looked at her and I was like,
"Same over here.
That's not as bad as it gets, pal."
No,
I was like,
there is a whole third act.
We got about a half hour left of that film. No, honestly, when they showed all the clips, my thought was I had a similar thought to you, and it was for A Better Man. I saw the makeup and hair for Better Man, and I was like, that is where I think my second vote truly was. But Nosferatu, great. Nosferatu, to me, at the end of the day, should have been the cinematography pick. I think that still was the best cinematography of the year, and over Dune. I would have put Brutalist at 3.
Wow, that
personally,
is big praise.
Of voting, because I think Dune is ahead of Brutalist as well. But I do think Brutalist is a deserving win. I don't think it's outlandish. What else you got?
Film editing. I actually
should be 2 categories. No, sorry, that's sound design.
You're thinking of sound. Film editing. Anora with another win. Fantastic. I still wish Challengers could have been in there, but yeah, you did. You were calling that one for sure.
Was the one to me, and going in. Anora was the dark horse. I thought it was between Conclave and The Brutalist, but when you really think about the editing, I mean, there's a reason that the movie did so well, and it's because of Sean Baker. He went up for everything because he is the director and the writer and the editor. Like, you look at a guy like Quentin Tarantino, who does the writing and the direction, but he doesn't do the editing. Like it truly is independent. He's the one. He even said, like, thank you to my wife who's in the room and my dog who's in the room with me when I edit. Like, it's just incredible. The editing in Anora is fantastic. It adds to the humor. Even in the clips they showed of the editing, I was like, this kind of is the best edited film of the year.
Yeah, that's why I like the clips. It's just a nice, friendly reminder.
Clips are the best. Show off the movie. That's what we're here for.
Documentary feature, the winner went to No Other Land. This is a category that I knew nothing about, but I was very impressed by the speech of that.
It was a great speech, yeah.
Yeah, he lost my train of thought.
I was giggling because I didn't know. I was so behind on the documentary features that I truly was surprised when Porcelain Wars was not about toilets. I expected it. I only have one porcelain in my mind, and that is the Porcelain King. What?
International? No, I'm just laughing at you. You're ridiculous.
Speech was great, though. It was great.
Best international feature for I'm Still Here.
Made sense. Emilia Perez sucks. Netflix only bought nominations. They didn't buy wins.
But this is the continued thing of Netflix. They can get they always rack up in nominations for the past couple of years, but they don't really win much.
No, it sucks. It sucks that they're getting there. Get back to the studios that deserve it.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think more importantly, that bit by Conan to say Anora has dropped however many F-bombs this year, which is 2 more or whatever he said than Carla's tweets. Oh,
that one made me gasp.
That moment is when you truly were like, all right, Conan has brought us a game.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
No, I was appreciative of he's just so good. He's such a great comedian.
He's great. I hope they ask him back next year.
Hey, it might make me come back next year. Come on, Oscars.
Kyle, you're going to dip, huh? Wow.
Hey, depends on who the host is, apparently.
Anything else?
Wisely. Did we already say Mikey Madison for Best Actress? We did. That was like one of the first things we did.
We talked about her, but I think when we look at all the major acting awards, the three weren't competitive. We knew it was going to be Kieran Culkin, who had a very Kieran Culkin's speech was starting to get a little old at all the awards shows. It was starting to be the same kind of thing. But his speech at the Oscars was hysterical, saying to his wife, she doesn't. Did you not see it?
No, I did see it. I just didn't like his speech. I don't know.
I thought it was so funny when he was telling his wife, like, she doesn't remember the story probably, but she said, we can have more kids when I win an Oscar. And guess what, babe? That was funny because it was the most different I think his speeches have truly been. But like
his kind of accidental slip with Jeremy Strong was a bit of a surprise. Like
him saying I shouldn't play favorites and point out how much he loved Jeremy Strong's performance.
Yeah, he almost was, and it was weird. He was like, Jeremy Strong, it's fine, or something like that. And I think he was just a bit uncomfortable because he like loves him so much and worked for him all those years. And I don't know. It was just he just didn't do a good job at the start of it. But maybe I'm reading too much into it.
What's crazy though is you look at the SAGs and the thought was I'd rather have a speech like Timothée Chalamet's than Kieran Culkin's, and when you go to the Oscars, I'd rather have a speech like Kieran Culkin's than over Adrian Brody's. Adrian Brody just talked, and he talked, and he talked, and he talked, and he talked, and then he cut the music off so he could talk, and he said some great stuff, but there was a lot of ums in there. He was and I gotta don't cut me off. I've been here before. I didn't think his speech was the best. I thought out of all. For the most part, he was towards the bottom of the speeches for this year, but I was happy for his win. Zoe's was expected. We heard the exact same beat she's been saying every single performance dedicated to her grandmother. I thought was great. But yeah, no, the real Oscar surprise was them saying Mikey Madison over Demi Moore. That was the big surprise, I think, of the entire night.
I would say so.
For everybody, other than maybe Best Animated. I think everything else, for the most part, went par for the course, and the ones that didn't go the way we all kind of expected, I think we were like, oh yeah, that was probably number 2, or it was a dark horse, and we're not, rolling over, shocked that it happened. So
yeah, it's kind of funny how that works. This year, I thought was the most like wide open race for a lot of categories, so it was kind of hard for me to pick and choose. But once I finally got settled and locked into things, then I guess that's why it fell par for the course, because I was like, oh, I did wind up getting that right. And you feel good when you get stuff right like that. It makes it fun. So
it does. But really, the real winner of the night is Anora. Anora is the winner of the night. And honestly, I think the biggest loser of the night is Amelia Perez. Sorry. I think
Netflix in general.
Perez. Yeah. I think they are the true losers. I think even a movie like Nickel Boys and or Sing Sing that got some nominations throughout but no wins won better than they did, because it felt like Amelia Perez was the it kid going into the nominations, just for it to all fall apart. All of the stuff about tweets and the smear campaigns, and I learned even more about some of the stuff during the show, just on commercial breaks, just looking online and seeing what people were saying. I learned even more about some things that had happened. It was wild, Kyle. It was absolutely wild. And it was a bad movie. Yeah. When they showed the songs, and the person who wrote the songs, great. I think an incredible artist. But like, El Mal is a great song, but then you remember the song in the doctor's office. I want to know about it was like, what are these songs? What are we doing here? Like, what is this? And then you remember some of the other songs. And then they show Bond. And you're like, these are great songs. I don't want them here. But, man, they're better than everything else.
Yeah.
I'm almost out of Pepsi. And I need to go to bed.
Yeah, get those bubbles out of you.
Yes, sir. Kyle, are you upset about the Anora win? I know you hate sex workers. You're upset about... Sorry. That was the Pepsi talking. There's no bigger fan of sex workers than Kyle.
Alex, what are you doing?
Nobody makes it this far into the show.
Too far. Find the middle.
I saw a tweet that said, I watched the Oscars with my dad who hasn't seen Anora, and Sean Baker just talked about how great sex workers are, and my dad turned to me and said, does this guy just hang out with hookers all day? It just made me giggle.
Pops.
I think Anora's the winner of the night, and I think
it is the winner of the night.
Dune, it's true. Dune, to me, is the best movie of 2024. I think it needed more nominations throughout the entire Academy vote. I think it needed more wins.
Yeah.
But my number 2 movie of the year was Anora, and to me they were very close. I considered swapping them at times, and so I am overjoyed with Anora. Kyle, how do you feel about Anora being a top winner? Do you think it's deserved? Do you think people are going to look back and go, what were we thinking? It's not Red Rocket. What are we thinking, Kyle?
In terms of Sean Baker's work, it's not my favorite of his, but it is a very strong movie. And I do like the wins that it got, including for Best Picture. I don't really have strong thoughts right now on like if this is a mistake or not necessarily. I don't feel like it's going to be.
I don't either.
But at the same time, though, we are going to look back at this year, a year that people have been kind of thinking isn't like a strong year for film, but we're going to see like Dune 2, but on top of that, The Brutalist, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, and we're going to see some underrated gems that I feel like people are going to... Conclave, thank you, Alex.
The Substance.
Thank you, Alex. And we're going to be remembering this year as like one with a lot of great gems that deserved a lot more props. So I think it's more so Yuck, of course. Thank you, Alex.
Yuck looked fun. I saw that and I was like,
it did look fun.
This animated movie. It's on Netflix. I gotta go find it.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish everything wasn't on Netflix.
So yeah, no kidding. Anyway, just a year that's gonna be looked back on for some gems that should not be underrated, but sadly were. But overall, yeah, I like Anora having this win. I think it's a very good win. We'll see though in time.
Anora. You know, when Anora came out, I said put Mikey on that top of that young people in Hollywood list.
You had a feeling.
And now it's put Mikey Madison, Academy Award winner in leading actress at the top of your list, baby.
Good
what
her,
do
man.
all those other actresses not? What does Florence Pugh not have? An Academy Award win.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not
Are you kidding
yet.
me? I love Florence Pugh, though. I absolutely freaking love Florence Pugh. We are in good hands for the future of cinema with the actors we have.
I think so. I was thinking about this
really
on our last. I was thinking about this on our last conversation because we were talking about Timothée Chalamet and him wanting to take risk to become the best of the best in terms of acting. And I feel like a lot of the up and coming actors that we're seeing, not just him and Mikey, but a few others like Austin Butler and the likes of those, they are, I feel like, taking more risks and choosing different projects and variety of things compared to just going with like the blockbuster easy layup type of routes. Not to say that that's a bad thing to do that. That's totally fine.
No, get your bag.
Yeah, exactly. Get your
broke.
bag.
Go get your bag.
For sure.
Come on, John Lithgow. Go be Dumbledore. Come on, get your bag.
But like with some other names, like Sydney Sweeney, for example, and Zendaya even, like they're choosing interesting stuff. And it's not the stuff that normally would be, maybe not yet. Anyway, I'm just saying, like these next actors are going to be very interesting to see, and maybe it's going to change how cinema and movie making changes. Like maybe different types of movies are going to be made, and you know the trends could change. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be very interesting.
I think it's a wave of the older generation in Hollywood said they're not making our type of movies anymore. I've got to change. They changed. And the younger generation said, why on earth did we change? Let's go back. And they're working on trying to get some of those movies back. And Anora winning Best Picture is a big sweeping victory in the sense of those type of movies being made. Every time Anora came up, all we talked about on the couch was we really want to rewatch Anora. I really want to rewatch Anora. Let's rewatch Anora. And we both agreed to wait for that Creed Collection DVD next month when it gets to my house. And then we'll pop that bad boy in and have a good time. All right. Any other thoughts for the night here?
Nah, let's wrap it up. Let's have everyone go to bed.
Good, I got to go to bed. Guys, what did you think? You're right here now. Comment below. Let us know. Like, subscribe, share. And as always, thanks for watching. Mom.
See you guys.